And I am live. What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? I'm sorry I'm about 11 minutes late. But yeah, ended up, I went for a 7 o'clock showing of the movie. And instead of the movie starting at 7 o'clock, it starts at freaking 7:30 because of all of Blumhouse's stupid trailers and stuff. So there was, I must have sat through at least 10 trailers before they finally started the movie. So I saw the movie. I know I saw the beginning, saw the middle, and I saw the end. And I'm gonna say this: I thought the movie was freaking great. I like it more than the 2018 film. Now, why I spoil the movie? Yeah, I'm gonna spoil the movie. Will I spoil it right away? No, but kind of want to set up this movie. So I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen. If you haven't checked out my Halloween video, my first episode of Serial Horror Sessions, where I basically kind of do a little review of Halloween and Halloween 2, kind of doing a little plot analysis, nice little introduction, keep it creepy, kind of like your Twilight Zone or or all those are your Tales of the Crypt type of shows, Tales from the Dark Side, stuff like that. So I mean, obviously, there's a lot. This movie, even more so than the 2018 movie, is connected to Halloween of 1978. But I'm not going to call it Halloween in 1978. I'll just call it the original, the OG Halloween. Um, so basically, this movie is a direct sequel to Halloween 2018. So, what is Halloween 2018? Well, Halloween 2018 is a sequel of only the original film. So, they retconned Halloween 2. They retconned what happens right after Dr. Loomis shoots Michael, shoots the shape. I'll call him the shape. Shoots the shape out of the balcony of the Tommy Doyle house, and then of course Loomis walks to the freaking balcony, and then he finds Myers is the shape is gone, his body's gone, and you hear breathing. You hear breathing throughout you hear breathing throughout the shots. They show all the shots of all the different sets that they used and the locations. So basically stating that the shape or Michael Myers or the boogeyman could be anywhere, everywhere. So that's how the original movie ends. And John Carpenter, who wrote and directed the original film, felt like it's just like another spooky tale about the boogeyman, and that the boogeyman could be anyone, anybody, and he basically made Michael Myers a force of nature, kind of like Jaws from Jaws, the shark. So, so I am going to just find a picture. It's a nice little picture of Loomis right here. So basically, it's Donald Pleasance plays Loomis in the first, and basically all the movies up until Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, and then he passed away in the mid-90s. So he was, but yeah, he was like he was the person that he was his Michael Myers, a psychologist or psychiatrist that pursues him, tells everyone he's evil and stuff. I mean, that's a marketing of a great psychiatrist, according to Red Letter Media. So, yeah, he's packed with a 357. He's ready to kill Myers, the moment he sees him. So, but going back to Halloween ends, and then Halloween 2 gets written by Carpenter himself. He hated the experience. He had to pull off late nights because of this. Punk Waddle's here. Somebody's here for a change. Nerdporial, hey, the Nerdporial life form. I'm not big on the horror genre, but I'm looking to see if I learn anything. I mean, yeah. I mean, if horror is not your thing. I mean, good horrors. There's a lot of crappy horror out there. This movie that I saw was a good movie. I mean, it's a movie that I felt was more faithful to the original film than I think the entire franchise, and that includes Halloween. I think that even includes Halloween 2 to a degree. So, I mean, this felt like part horror movie, part character basically a character study. Like there's a lot of member berries in this movie. So, but yeah, so Halloween ends. Not the movie. I don't know how they're going to follow this up, but let's just say this movie was Empire Strikes Back for Halloween. So, where to begin? So, let's go back in time 3 years to 2018, and of course they announced another Halloween movie, another timeline. So let's go back to the timeline right here. So here is where is it? Right here. So majority of the movies always stem from the original 1978 film. And then, of course, you have Halloween 2, and then that leads into the H2O timeline, which leads into Resurrection. And, of course, then you have, 4, 5, and 6, which have, Dr. Loomis, and, of course, Laurie is dead. And I didn't know until 2018 that H2O was in a different timeline. So, and then you have this is not even connected to this. This is a reboot, the ones that Rob Zombie did. So, yeah, the franchise was basically rebooted several times. Then there's Halloween 3 here. Halloween 3 was like this was Tommy Lee Wallace, John Carpenter's attempt to make a anthology series, like once again like the Twilight Zone, different stories that could take place in Halloween, that are kind of unrelated but yet still have similar themes, similar types of. In this case, there was a lot of similarities to the original Halloween in terms of cinematography and the type of scares, and of course John Carpenter's music. At this time, he was partnered with Alan Howarth, who helped him with Halloween 2, giving more of a give it a more cinematic, higher budget score. By the way, the score for the John Carpenter score for Halloween Kills is excellent. I mean, there's quite a few member berries from 1978's Halloween, but some of the newer stuff is just amazing. Like it just so feels like John Carpenter, and just it's like listening to a nostalgia trip going all the way back to the 80s and stuff. So, but yeah, so 2018. So they made a movie. Now, David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. Of course, a lot of you guys know who Danny McBride is from Vice Principals, Eastbound and Down. He was in Pineapple Express and a whole bunch of other movies. They got together. They sat down together and they came up with an idea to make another Halloween. Whereas what if Myers survives 1978 and not only survives but gets taken back into custody and goes back to the sanitarium for 40 years. So in this case, they sell it to John Carpenter. John Carpenter gets involved. They want him to do the music. Blumhouse Productions is basically heading the production, and of course, I forget who's still Miramax. I think Miramax is still Miramax still owns the rights to Halloween. So yeah, so there's a little bit of CBS control over this. So 2018 happens. They get Jamie Lee. They pitch it to Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis likes the idea. Basically, she was a victim of a violent crime, and she survived. And because of that, she has had issues. Like when people suffer traumatic stuff, they're damaged, and the damage never really quite goes away. I mean, obviously, the most. I mean, in some of the in a very famous movie, in a very famous book series, in a very famous book called The Lord of the Rings, Frodo goes through. Now he's not a victim of a horrible crime, but he goes through quite a few traumatic moments, especially when he gets stabbed by the ring wraith on the Weathertop in the Fellowship of the Ring. Same type of deal. You survive, you recover, but you're not fully recovered. So that's what trauma does to a human being. And Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, goes through this, and she's basically gets obsessed with Michael Myers. And the big change in this is that in the Halloween 2, John Carpenter had to come up with a reason why Myers would go after Laurie, the Shape would go after Laurie in the hospital, and he came up with this. Laurie is actually his sister. It's kind of like having a Darth Vader moment in Halloween 2, saying, "Hey, it's no, she is your sister." So they. And so, like, I think Halloween H2O kind of continues that whole idea that, Laurie's his sister. And then, of course, they kill off Laurie in Resurrection because she didn't want to have anything to do with the franchise. I mean, I'll be honest. Majority of the Halloween movies were crap. I mean, I still have not seen the Rob Zombie Halloween and Halloween 2. So, because, I mean, they just look awful for starters, and they're not scary. I mean, they don't just come off as scary. They just seem just overly violent and stuff. So, I mean, there's a little bit of that in these new David Gordon Green films, but I like the direction that they're taking. Myers is still a scary villain. He's a threat, and you do not engage him whatsoever. And 2018 really showed this. So, I mean, 2018 starts off with a couple of people from England. They're trying to do that, like they say they're doing a podcast. They're trying to get interviews with. They try to interview Myers. They somehow get his mask, his original mask from 1978 to kind of get him to trip off and stuff. And leads to the beginning of the movie, and then of course the doctor, who was Dr. Sartain, and this time Myers is a psychiatrist, basically kind of sets the stage for the movie by what I think happens is I think he basically somehow lets Myers loose or something, and then Myers kills everyone on the bus as they're being transported, and of course the bus crashes. And then there's the scene where a dad who looks more like a grandpa and his son, who just knows how to hunt and stuff, but he's more interested in dance and his dance classes and stuff. So Pacific 414's in the chat. What's up, Pacific? How you doing? So so basically Myers kills Myers rips open the father's mouth. You don't see the kill, you see the aftermath of that. And then he kills the kid from the back seat. So kind of like a nod to the when Myers kills Annie, played by Nancy Kyes in the first movie. And that's how he gets back to Haddonfield. And he tracks down the two podcasters, English podcasters, they go before he tracks them down. They go see Lori. Lori asks them if they believe in the boogeyman. They say no. And she's like, well, you should. And then they're trying to, like, get her to talk to Myers or say things to Myers. And she's like, no. She's like, no, I'm not doing this. Get out and give me my money. So they leave. They go to the cemetery, and they see they see Judith Myers' headstone. And they talk about how Michael, in the beginning of Halloween 1978, he murders his sister. He's only 6 years old. He kills her in her bedroom and stuff with a knife, and then just walks out. And then of course the parents come home when he walks out. And they just rip the mask off, and then it pans out from far away, and that's how it ends. That's how that segment ends. And they kind of showed a little bit of it. So, and this Halloween Kills shows quite a bit of flashbacks too. Shows quite a bit of flashbacks to the 2018 movie, to the 1978 movie, and let's just say they added some additional 1978 scenes, but I'll get to that when I get to spoilers. So Myers basically tracks them down to a gas station, which is kind of a member berry to Halloween 4, where it's technically a sequel to 2, but it was more like a soft reboot, basically the same type of story as in Halloween 1978. But more deaths, more stunts, more violence, like he literally in Halloween 4, Michael Myers stabs a guy with a shotgun. He takes the shotgun and stabs the guy in the stomach with the shotgun. It's that ridiculous. So, but that's Halloween 4. But going back to 2018, he attacks the woman. So there's a man and a woman, the two podcasters from UK. He attacks the woman's in the bathroom taking care of business, and Michael Myers goes in. He already has a new he gets out. Because he killed people in the gas station, he has a new mechanic's outfit, which he wore in the original film. He wears the mechanic's outfit, but he doesn't have the mask yet. So the reason why he attacks him is because he wants his mask back. So he basically, attacks her while she's in the stall. She's trying to get away from him. He tries to pull her by the legs, and then the man comes in and tries to hit him with a crowbar. He hits him, doesn't phase him, and just Myers just keeps bashing him in the head and the walls and the doors, the bathroom doors, and just kills him. And then he basically takes the woman, lifts her up, and breaks her neck. That's how she's gone. So, and then of course there's a little bit of drama. We find out Lori, she's much older now. She has she was traumatized, so she has like a safe house. She has like a hidden basement, which is underneath her island counter. Her island counter. What do you call it? An island counter or something? Where basically she has a control that it basically pivots and opens up like it's like a Zelda door, like a hidden stairwell, kind of like Zelda, you have your hidden stairwells like in Zelda. So it's kind of like that. So, and you learn a little bit of family drama. She had her daughter taken away from her. Her daughter is now an adult. She has a teenage daughter of her own. So Lori is a grandmother in this movie. And there's a little bit of tension. The daughter does not want to have anything to do with Lori because she thinks Lori's crazy, and that she just brought her baggage to the rest of the family. So that was a thing in the 2018 movie. So Lori's still kind of going through her shit, And let's just say the shape comes back. He's in the middle of the town and he just starts killing at random. He goes into people's houses and just kills them. Gets a hammer, hits a woman in the head with a hammer. he walks through a nursery with an infant, doesn't take any interest in doing anything to an infant, which is good because it would have pissed me off and everyone else off. But my this is just a theory I have, is he wants to wait for the kid to grow up so he can scare the living crap out of him and then kill him. One thing about Michael Myers, doesn't matter your sex, your race, your creed, your orientation, you're all equal prey to him. But going back, so he starts his killing spree. We find out the granddaughter is at a dance. She has this boyfriend named I can't think of his name. Was it Cameron? I think his boyfriend's name is Cameron, and he basically just like acts like a jerk at the dance, throws her phone in the Jello or something, the gelatin, and that's the last we see of him in the movie. And so his buddy basically tries to walk her home. She's kind of heartbroken, so his buddy tries to walk her home. And on their way home, the buddy tries to try to kiss her and stuff, and she's like, "What are you doing?" So basically, she leaves the buddy. I forget his name, and the buddy's is in a yard, and the yard has motion detecting lights on, so the lights turn on and off. And then he sees Myers just standing there watching him, like 1978 Michael Myers would do. And Myers just he appears, he vanishes, he appears, he vanishes and stuff. So he attacks the kid, and basically uses the gate and basically jams his neck through the spiked gate and stuff. And that's how the buddy dies. It's how Cameron's friend dies. So, and Laurie's granddaughter, what's her, I forget her name. What is Laurie's granddaughter's name? Allison. Allison sees this, and she sees Myers for the first time, and she just screams and runs away, kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis did when she had to get the heck out of the Wallace house. And she's screaming, "Help me, help me, help me!" And of course, nobody helps her and stuff. Well, it was a callback to that moment, and you hear a great John Carpenter segment that just took you back to the 1980s and stuff. But we find out that in this 2018 movie, Laurie and Michael Myers are not brother and sister. Michael Myers does not care about Laurie. The only reason why he cared about Laurie in the original 1978 film was because Laurie was the first person he sees, because she went to the Myers house to drop the keys off, and Michael Myers was inside the house. So when she's walking off the porch, he's looking at her from the door. And then as she's walking to school, and she's singing, Jamie Lee Curtis had to kind of come up with a song to sing while she's walking, because that's what John Carpenter told her to do. She's singing, you see her walking, away from the camera, and then all of a sudden you see a shoulder appear on the right side of the screen, obviously, basically noticing that, Myers is, taking her as prey. So that's why he goes after her throughout the movie, goes after her friends, because he sees the friends too. And so he takes initial interest in Annie, kills Linda and her boyfriend. And then of course, waits for Laurie to go into the house so that he can, say tag, he basically stabs her he basically slashes her in the arm. That's kind of like a tag, you're it, now you got to run away from me type of deal or something. It was weird. It's a weird analogy, but heck, going back to 2018. So basically this Dr. Sartain guy, who was Michael's psychiatrist, basically basically drives Myers because they get Myers. They hit Myers with the car. They hit Myers with the police car. So there's this guy named Hawkins. He's a deputy. He's a deputy. He's an older deputy, and there's him, and then there's Dr. Sartain, and then they have Allison in the back. Allison. They're trying to. They find Michael Myers and they run him over, knocking him out. Well, Dr. Sartain attacks Deputy Hawkins because Hawkins wants Myers to be dead and Sartain wants him to live because Sartain is very, unlike Dr. Loomis, Dr. Sartain is very interested in understanding what makes Michael Myers tick. But Michael Myers kills him. It kills, so we leave Hawkins for dead at the end in 2018. We don't see him again. And then Dr. Sartain basically drives Allison and Michael Myers to Laurie's compound. And that's how Laurie and Michael Myers get reunited in 2018. And that's the only issue I really had with that movie, was that they couldn't really figure out how to get Michael Myers to Laurie and stuff. So they had to come up with some stupid plot with Dr. Sartain wanting to be Michael. People thought that was going to be, people thought that he was going to be the new Michael Myers, but it didn't turn out to be the case. They kind of killed that little plot line right away. So you have the big standoff between Laurie and Michael Myers. They fight, and Laurie and her daughter, Karen, and Allison manage to trap him in the basement. They throw on the gas, and they throw they basically light the house on fire. They light the house on fire, and they get out, and that's how 2018 ends. They hitch a ride to go to the hospital because Laurie got stabbed. And so a lot of people died. Karen's husband, Allison's father, got killed. He was the Wiz in Seinfeld, that same actor. Oh, a lot of there wasn't, besides Laurie, there wasn't really anyone else from the original film. This movie, Halloween Kills, brings almost everybody that survives from 1978 back. So you get a nice big reunion with a lot of people. You see Tommy Doyle. So let me introduce the cast of characters for Halloween Kills. So Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis is back with Jamie Lee Curtis is back with basically everyone that survived from 2018, including Hawkins. We find out Hawkins survives. But I'll get to that. So we have Sheriff Brackett comes back. Like I said in my Halloween video, they brought Charles Cyphers is in his 80s now, but they brought him out. He hasn't been in any movies for a long time, and they brought him back for this movie. So Charles Cyphers, who was in a lot of early John Carpenter movies, came back to play Sheriff Brackett in this movie. Tommy Doyle, the young boy that Laurie babysits in the first movie, comes back. This time he's played by Anthony Michael Hall. If you don't know who Anthony Michael Hall is, he was the original Rusty Griswold in National Lampoon's Vacation. Whoopa Troopa is here. What's up, Whoopa? How you doing? It's no longer Whoopa Wednesday. It's Halloween Thursday. So here is basically we have Tommy Doyle. Lindsay Wallace comes back. Lindsay Wallace is the girl that Annie babysits across the street. And Annie was the first one to get stalked by Michael Myers in the original film. And little Lindsay Wallace was watching The Thing from Another World, the 1951 version. So we see her, and she's played by her original actress, Kyle Richards. You see Kyle Richards in all these, really... What is she in? Like celebrity? What is Kyle Richards in? Kyle Richards. What is she in? Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's in that. So Kyle Richards comes back. And then Nancy Stevens comes back. She was the nurse in the very beginning of the first Halloween. So basically, she drives Loomis to the Smiths Grove Sanitarium, and they see all the mental patients are just wandering the campus. So Loomis gets out, goes to the front gate, and tries to call the main office to find out what the hell's going on. And she's just chilling in the car, and all of a sudden, a figure basically jumps onto the top of the car, and basically, as she opens the window, the figure just basically starts grabbing at her and starts trying to strangle her from on top of the car. And, of course, that's Michael Myers. And we see something like that in this movie too, and then Halloween Kills. But she comes back. So she comes back. Charles Cyphers comes back. Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace come back. And Cameron's father is the kid that bullied Tommy Doyle in the first film, Lonnie Elam or something. Yeah, Lonnie Elam. He so they brought him back. He's obviously I think he's a different obviously is a different actor, but they brought him back too. So they brought a lot of people. They brought a lot of people back, and of course, everyone from 2018 film. So basically, the 2018 film ends with Lori, her daughter Karen, and her granddaughter Allison basically managing to trap Myers in the basement and setting the house ablaze. Well, the movie was a success. We don't see him die. We just see the house go up in flames, and that's it. We don't see a body burning like in Halloween 2. We just see the house burning. So kind of left it open. But if the movie was a failure, it would have been a decent conclusion, I guess, But the movie wasn't a failure. It made a lot of money. It made the most money of any movie in the series. It made like $200 million back out of in a $10 million budget. It made $200 million. So it made 20 times its budget. So they greenlit 2 more films: Halloween Kills, which is the one I just saw, and Halloween Ends. So Halloween Kills is like Halloween 2. It takes place on the very same night. So it takes place right after Halloween 2, or it takes place right after Halloween 2018. So the movie opens. We see Cameron, who was a jerk in the last movie. He's still wearing his dress. He's still wearing the dress because him and Allison went to the Halloween dance, and they kind of did a gender reversal as Bonnie and Clyde. So she was dressed as Clyde, and he was dressed as Bonnie. So he's walking around with the dress, and I guess they retconned the deleted scene in the 2018 film, because in the 2018 film he was drinking and he gets taken into police custody because he literally says "F you" to a cop. That's basically, and that's all. So the cop was a jerk. So, but yeah, he's walking and he finds Hawkins. Deputy Hawkins in the street, and then he calls his dad, and he calls the police to get there. And that's how Hawkins survives ultimately. So I was happy that I liked his character. I was really disappointed because I thought they killed him off originally in 2018, because Sartain stabs him with his penknife in the neck, and he runs part of I thought he ran him over, so I thought he was dead, but apparently he's not. So I'm happy about that. And because Hawkins is basically our connective tissue to the past. So this movie shows flashbacks, takes us back to 1978. So we get to see how the events after Halloween are retconned compared to Halloween 2. So in this case, Halloween, we all know how Halloween ends. Halloween ends with Loomis shooting Myers out of the house, and Myers lands about 3 stories lands 2 stories on the ground, and then of course Loomis goes and sees that he vanished. So in this case, Michael Myers basically goes back to his home. He basically walks back to the Myers house. And young Hawkins, there's an actor that plays a young version of Hawkins, and his partner try to go into the Myers house. Spoilers, by the way. So if you're not interested, if you're interested in seeing this film, if you're interested in seeing this film, you're very sensitive to spoilers, then click out now, because I'm going to be going in slashing and bashing. So I'll do a countdown like every other YouTuber does. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we're back in 1978. We see, well, actually, before we even see Hawkins and his partner, we meet, actually, no, we do see Hawkins and his partner. They've come across Myers, but then Myers, turns a corner and then just vanishes like he did in the original film, which I like. I like that aspect of this movie. And they brought back the way the movie looks. It's got that ghoulish look of the original film. So the 2018 film did not have that, and the tone was kind of all over the place. But this movie had more of that original Halloween feel to it. The original, from the color, from John Carpenter's music to the sets, to the color of the picture, especially at night in the dark. This entire movie takes place at night, and there's a bit more horror. There's less. I mean, there's some comedic moments and stuff, but it's mostly. But everything that's comedic is connected to either Halloween or to mythology of Michael Myers or the Boogeyman. So basically they lose Myers, and then we meet a young Lonnie Elam. Lonnie is Cameron's father. So let's see, Cameron. Let's look up Cameron Elam, or let's look up Lonnie Elam. So you got Dr. Loomis here. We all know Dr. Loomis. Lonnie Elam. This is the original. This is the original Lonnie in the first movie, and then this is the actor that plays the adult, the adult Lonnie. So, and then this is a new actor right here that plays him, and apparently from this movie he gets bullied by other kids. And he basically tries to tell everyone that, hey, I walked into the Myers house. So he gets knocked down. He's trying to run away. The police are there telling him, the 3 people have been murdered, because it's still 1978. And he trips. He trips and lands, and then I think he comes to his senses, and all of a sudden Michael Myers. The shape is just standing above him. He puts his head down. He says, "Please, I don't want to die." And then Myers, of course, disappears. And the 2 cops that lost him help him up. He's like, he was just here. Where did he go? And then they see him. They're right outside They're right outside the Myers house, and they see Myers go into the house. So they try to go in the house. We see almost every aspect. That Myers house looks just like the original film. They got that right. It does. It's not like the other movies where they made it look totally different and stuff. So I mean, they were the details. They were really keen on the details of the first film. We even see the dead dog. In this. Yes, I was wondering, are they going to show that dead dog that they mentioned in the first movie? And they did. I mean, we didn't get a close look. It was just it was a shot. The dog was in the distance. But yeah, we got to see the dead dog. Wow. So they're in the bedroom. We even see the broken window that scared Loomis in the first film. So they even got that detail right, which was pretty cool. And Hawkins's partner's just staring. That was Judith Myers' room where Michael stabs her, and basically the partner of Hawkins is basically standing looking out the window. And all of a sudden, Myers just springs out of the closet and attacks him the same way he attacked Bob in the first film. He just springs out of the closet and just starts strangling and stabbing and strangling. And Hawkins is there, and he tries to shoot him. He accidentally shoots his partner, and he kills him. And he kills him, and he kills his partner. And Myers gets away from him, and the police are there. They've heard the shots. We actually see Dr. Loomis. There's another actor that plays him that looks just like him. They probably put makeup on him, and he even sounds like him. But we see him in the distance. We see him far away, but he looks just like Donald Pleasance. And he's like, "Did you kill him? Did he kill again?" and stuff. And then, of course, you see Myers is just standing out there. The police have their guns on him. Loomis is standing right next to him. And then we jump back. We jump back to 2018. So we basically jump back to 2018. Movie starts in a bar. We meet Tommy Doyle. They talk about that. We meet Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace, and Marion Chambers. Basically, almost everyone from the first film are in the bar. With there's that husband and wife, doctor and nurse, that you see very briefly in the 2018 movie. Well, we see them in this movie. They're at the bar. They're just hanging out. And we find out that Tommy basically does, like, every year tries to commemorate the original film, and says to Lori and stuff. And then, of course, when they mention Lori, they jump to her. They're in the Lori, her daughter, and Allison are on the truck, and they see the fire department going towards her burning house, and they're screaming, "No, let him burn, And so we follow the fire department. We follow the first responders. They get to Lori's burning safe house. They go inside. One of the firemen has the floor collapse under him in the burning building. And we find out how Myers survives the burning house. He was hidden behind one of those industrial doors. His mask was partially singed, but he killed that guy. He killed that first responder that fell in the floor, kills him, then basically literally gets out of the house. He has a weapon, and he just starts killing and mowing everybody down, just like he's just killing. He killed six first responders, firemen. So that was that. So there, Whoopa Troopa says, "All right, R.I.P. to the Doge, R.I.P. to the Doge, or the dog." Yeah. Apparently, according to the original movie, he says, Dr. Loomis says he got hungry, so he probably feasted on the dog. So, as horrible as that sounds. So, LDG of Geeks and Joys here. What's up? How you doing? Thanks for coming by. So, going back to Michael Myers, as a 58-year-old man, or a 58-year-old boogeyman, manages to kill several first responders, and that's how the movie begins. I think that's how the movie begins. And of course, we have the opening credits. This time we see a bunch of pumpkins, moving towards the screen, and they're all ablaze. Like instead of having a simple jack-o'-lantern with a glow coming out, instead you're seeing fire coming out, like the jack-o'-lanterns are like dragons and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of pumpkins passing, being zoomed in on the screen, and then we see the final pumpkin, or the final jack-o'-lantern, which looks just like the jack-o'-lantern from the second movie, Halloween 2. And it was just seeing that little effect was really cool and stuff. And just so we go back, and there's a couple of stories in this movie that we follow. So there's Laurie in the hospital. Well, there's the story in the hospital. So we get to see Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. That was a big member berry Easter egg, because that's where Halloween 2 mainly takes place. But unlike in Halloween 2, this movie, this hospital is not staffed with only 6 people. This is a fully staffed hospital with a lot of people there, a lot of patients, a lot of people there. It's a little more realistic. But let's just say Tommy Doyle starts, like, they find, everybody finds out, based on the 2018, based on the previous film's killing spree, that everyone knows that Michael Myers is in town. So Michael Myers is in town. And basically he just started killing people, and now everybody knows who he is, and people want blood, people want vengeance. So Tommy Doyle tries to start stirring up a mob to start, attacking. So there's a little scene where it kind of shows the horrors of, the mob mentality in this movie. So in the previous film, when Myers escapes, he wasn't the only one that was unaccounted for. There were a couple other patients that were kind of, like, once again, like in the original film, there were patients that were kind of wandering around. Well, in 2018, where the bus crashes on the highway, there were a few other patients that were kind of wandering around the highway, and one of them was unaccounted for. And he was like a secondary. He wasn't really a villain, but he was like a secondary. He was basically the person, the victim. He was basically the victim of the mob mentality. This second inmate that escaped, and he wasn't really a violent one. He was just, he was just crazy. He was probably schizophrenic. Probably had his own problems. Probably had a whole bunch of emotional problems. Not a murdering psychopath like Michael Myers. So in the hospital, like even before the hospital, we find out that the husband and wife, doctor, nurse, costume, couple who lived right across the street from the young boy that was being babysat in the previous movie. Well, they basically see him in the car. They think it's Michael Myers. So people think that this other guy is Michael Myers, because nobody knows what he looks like. Nobody knows what Michael Myers looks like outside of the mask, except for, Laurie and a few other people. Remember, Laurie took off his mask in the first Halloween film. You get to see his face. So they go after this guy, and they find him in the hospital, and they try to get to him, and the guy commits the other inmate ends up breaking out of the window like 4 or 5 stories up in the hospital and just jumps to his death. And of course, then they figure out, Sheriff Brackett is there, or he's not Sheriff Brackett. He's basically old man Brackett, security guard Brackett. He's hospital security. And he says, this is not Michael Myers. But Brackett kind of helps stir up the mob, because they're like, he murdered my baby, he murdered my daughter, and blah, blah, blah. So basically, that was probably the one storyline in the film I didn't really care for. But there is a little bit of a payoff with the mob mentality with Myers, but that's at the end of the movie. So I have to go back to Michael Myers. So Michael Myers kills the first responders. Then he makes his way to another house where he kills a couple, an older couple. They're probably in their 60s. And he basically the kills are violent in this movie. Like he's just like he's basically breaking through. He's busting through doors, through windows, just killing people from the others, just simply from the other side of the door. He basically kills the woman, and we see this in the trailer. He really rips off one of those long light bulbs, breaks half of it, and basically stabs her in the neck with the broken light bulb, with one of those long broken halogen light. I think they're halogen light bulbs. So kills them, and then the let's see, we go back to Lindsay. So there's Lindsay, the couple, the doctor and nurse couple, and Marion, nurse Marion Chambers. They're all in the car together. Lindsay gets out of the car and warns these kids who are on a merry-go-round to get out of there. They're basically wearing the masks from Halloween 3. I didn't notice any Silver Shamrock logo, so, but we did see, but those were the masks from Halloween 3. So they get away. We see Myers again. Myers basically goes after Marion and the couple in the car, and he basically attacks them the exact same way he attacked Marion in the first film. Jumping on top of the car, literally bashing the side window with his hand, with his bare open palmed hand. Same thing. Member berries after member berries. Speed King 125 is here. What's up? How you doing? So there's that member berries. And of course, Marion this time has a gun. She tries to shoot. She basically shoots every freaking window and misses Myers. And then, and then she's like, this is for Dr. Loomis. I don't know what that meant, because Loomis, he didn't kill Loomis. At least I don't think he killed Loomis. If he did kill Loomis, we didn't learn about that. But she's like, this is for Dr. Loomis. Points the gun at Myers, and there's no bullets. Either the gun jammed or there were no bullets. She didn't realize she ran out of bullets. So Myers just kills her, and she's like 70 something years old. So this movie is brutal. She gets killed for the second time. She was already killed in Halloween H2O. She was in the beginning of the movie, so she discovers Joseph Gordon, like her and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, his buddy. They get killed in the beginning of the movie. So this is the second time Marion Chambers gets killed in the Halloween franchise. So rest in peace. So yeah, when Geek Blend talked about, told me a bit about, how this movie being brutal, because he read the script and stuff beforehand. He wasn't lying. He was not lying. So Godzillionaire is lurking in the background. What's up? So going back, so she's dead. So Marion is dead, and the husband, the nurse, tries to strangle Myers from behind from the back seat. And I don't think this was ever done in a movie before. Myers literally just turns around and somehow stabs him in the eye. I forget what he stabs him in the eye with, but he stabs him in the eye, so he's dead. Nice little makeup effect right there. But yeah, the nurse husband is dead. And then the wife, the doctor, comes tries to shoot him, and he simply opens the door into her, and she shoots herself in the neck. Like the door hits her gun, and the gun goes off and kills her, hits her in the neck, and she's dead. And so they're dead. And then Lindsay, basically, while all that was going on, she was basically filling a bag full of bricks, and she literally takes a couple of swings and manages to hit Myers. But once again, it's like that's even with a bag of bricks, you're not gonna come out of that. You're not gonna come out of that well. So doesn't phase Myers. Myers attacks her, starts strangling her into the car. And then there's that little shot of, her ripping the mask, or trying to rip the mask off of him. So that kind of distracts him. He tries to get the mask back into proper proper position so that he can see out of it. So that gives her a chance to run. So she runs and she hides under a bridge, and Myers is trying to hunt her, and um, she manages to get away from him. Star Wars guys is here. What's up, Star Wars guys? I figure this would be the one. String I would not see you guys on, because you're not. I don't think. I'm assuming you're not big fans of horror. So, but going back, so Lindsay is hiding under a bridge, and Myers is just walking around looking for her and stuff. And once again, the blue glow. There's like this. It's between Carpenter's haunting music and and just the way they chose the lighting. It's like they listened to fan feedback and basically tried to make it more match the original film. And that was a pretty scary sequence. For a second, I thought she was going to die. So she basically hides, and she manages to evade Myers. So basically, we go back to the hospital. Allison and Cameron and his father, Lonnie, and Tommy, they basically they heard about, they're still looking for Myers, and they drive, and they find the bodies of the ones that I just mentioned that got killed. So they find Lindsay, and they get Lindsay to the hospital. So Tommy basically drives Lindsay to the hospital, and Cameron, Allison, and Lonnie continue to search for Michael and stuff. So we don't see Michael for a while, but then we go back to Lori. Lori's basically been out this whole movie. Like, she got stabbed in the gut, so she went through like major surgery. She was literally out for most of the movie. So let's take a look. Let's look for Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode, Halloween Kills. So yeah, this is a little bit of member berry. She was in the hospital in Halloween 2, and this is her in Halloween Kills, and the same here too. So basically, we find out a bit more about the 1978, the night he came home. So we go back to more flashbacks. So we find out that Dr. Loomis wanted to shoot Myers, because Myers was basically standing still, and the police were basically had him surrounded with guns pointed at him. So Loomis wanted to shoot him. So young Deputy Hawkins literally fights him. It keeps Loomis from shooting Myers, and they basically beat him down and take him back into custody, and that's how the 1978 segment kind of ends. So there's a decent amount of flashback. I kind of like it. I mean, I think it's kind of overused in some stuff, but I think for this movie it works. So the 2018 film does connect to the original quite a bit, but I think this movie even connects to it more. And it was just like, there's a lot of fan service, but I think the fan service, I think it worked. So once again, like I said, I had quite a bit of fun with this. This movie was a lot of fun to watch. This wasn't your typical crappy horror movie, and this is better. This is better than the other Halloween films. Like, this movie, actually, there was a lot of passion and a lot of care put into the finer details. And of course, we also live in a day and age of member berries. But I think the member berries in this case kind of worked. So we go back to we see the Myers house in this day and age, basically the same house, completely redone. It's owned by a couple. Looks like looks like they're pretty wealthy couple, and it's basically it's two same sex. I think they're married. It's basically two men married, and they're just watching a movie together, and the kids kids try to pull a prank on them, so they kind of turn the tables and tell them that this was this house was once a murder. This house was once the scene of a murder, and try to creep the kids out because they pulled a prank. It was another member berry where. Remember that in my video I talked about that unnecessary scene that Dino De Laurentiis really wanted to include, and that was having a kid with a razor blade, having a kid who was injured with a razor blade in his mouth. And it was pretty gross to see. I mean, I did include a picture of it because I'm just because I needed to show it, but it was an unnecessary scene that had no impact on the rest of the movie. So. And so these kids pretend to have a razor blade in their mouth, and they pretend they have a razor blade in their mouth, and basically they try to pull a prank, and they literally there's two kids, and then there's a third kid that goes in and steals like all their candy, and that's when they do their little scary, their little creepy, he's gonna get you, the boogeyman. This was House of the Boogeyman stuff, so. They run away, and let's just say they leave the back door open so a certain Michael Myers was able to get into the house, and he basically dispatches the two men. And so he's basically there. So like in the original, like in 1978, once he's done with his killing spree, he just simply goes back home. And the big thing that we find out that Myers likes to do, and even as a kid he liked to do, was he just liked to go into his sister's room and just stare out the window. We don't know why he does this, but he does. And he does this in this, and he did it in 1978 with young Hawkins, and he did it again in this movie with taking out those two. With taking out those two, the two with those two owners. So, basically, so he's in the house, and basically Lonnie, Cameron, and Allison go to the Myers house. They figure out that the kills that have been done so far lead straight to the Myers house. So they go to the Myers house. Lonnie goes in alone. Lonnie gets killed off screen. We see his body. Myers hangs him from the attic door and stuff. So Cameron finds him. Cameron all of a sudden sees Michael Myers. Michael Myers attacks him, and Cameron gets killed. Cameron gets killed very viciously, very violently. And Allison tries to stab him. Doesn't faze Michael. Michael catches her arm, and basically stares at her, and then we find out she's saved by her mother. She's saved by or she gets thrown down the stairs actually. Myers throws her down the stairs, so she kind of gets injured the same way Laurie gets injured in the first movie. Myers comes down the stairs. She tries to attack him again with the knife. He catches it, and he's about to stab her with her own knife until her mother, Karen, saves her. Basically, she takes a pitchfork and stabs him in the back with the pitchfork. And it kind of made me think it was a little nod to Friday the 13th, because that's something Jason would use. So we're approaching the end of the movie. So Karen takes off his mask. So Michael's down on the ground. He gets stabbed with the pitchfork, but he gets back up, takes the pitchfork off, and basically Karen takes his mask, like, you want your mask, come and get it. So we see James Drew Courtney, basically we don't see his full face. We just see, he's bald, obviously. We just see that he doesn't have the mask on. So he goes after her, takes the knife again, and just goes after Karen. And then Karen leads him into a trap where Tommy Doyle and a whole bunch of people, Sheriff Brackett, are waiting for him. And they basically beat the crap out of Myers, knock him out. He gets shot a couple of times. And Karen does the coup de grace and hits him in the neck with a butcher knife. and he's supposedly dead. They go back. We hear a monologue from Laurie. So Laurie doesn't really do much in this movie. She basically is in the hospital. She gives monologues, and then we see like a, not quite a side-by-side shot, but we see a parallel. We see her talking, and then we see Myers on the ground. Well, if you thought Myers was dead, you're wrong. He springs back up. He kills Sheriff Brackett. So Charles Cyphers, rest in peace. You have F in the chat for Sheriff Brackett. He's dead. He kills Tommy Doyle. Tommy Doyle is dead. So the little boy that saw the boogeyman gets killed by the boogeyman 40 years later. So rest in peace, Tommy Doyle. This time played by Anthony Michael Hall, not Brian Andrews. Kills him and kills everybody else. Kills everybody else in a nice little montage, paralleled with Laurie's monologue that she's saying. So, and then we see Karen. We see Karen in the room, in Judith Myers' bedroom, looking out the window. And the very last thing that happens in this movie, and this is a major spoiler, is Michael Myers turns up behind Karen and starts stabbing her repeatedly, like the way he killed Judith Myers. And that's how the movie ends. So rest in peace, Judy Greer's character, Karen Strode, or I don't know what the name was, but rest in peace, Karen. So it's only Laurie and her granddaughter now. So, and according to David Gordon Green, Halloween Ends is going to take place. There's going to be a bit of a time jump. So Halloween Ends, the third film, is not going to take place on the same night. So we didn't see Myers get taken back into custody. We just see Myers kill someone, and the movie kind of ends there. It's a very interesting way to end it. I honestly did not, the kills I did not see coming. See, one thing you have to remember about horror movies back in the 80s, and the Halloween films were no exception. Especially the first one was not so bad. I mean, but the Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, 6, all the films had like obnoxious jump scares. And the fact that they had all these obnoxious jump scares, you weren't scared when the actual killer came and actually killed somebody, because all that, that adrenaline rush already happened and stuff. So, but this movie didn't have that. This movie was violent when it needed to be, and this movie was freaking this movie, like, the kills happened. Like, I'm happy to say they didn't show every kill in the trailer. So, but they did show two of the scenes in the trailer. So I don't know who is responsible, if it's Universal or if it's Blumhouse Productions that are responsible for the trailers, but they need to be a little more subtle when it comes to it. They can't just show they showed like probably 40% of the kills in the trailer. So I seriously hope they don't do this again. They probably will, because they really need that marketing. So, but that's Halloween Kills. So we have Infected Goat 777 here. Well, welcome. I don't think I've seen you around before. Where would you rank this one? Oh my gosh. I like this one more than 2018, and 2018 is tied with Halloween 2. So this might be my second favorite Halloween. I'll have to watch it again, but I was smiling. Unlike Bond last week, I was smiling with this movie. This movie was amazing. I loved it. It's the sequel to Halloween I always wanted, because I felt I did not care for the other Halloween films. Well, maybe not so much Halloween 2, but the other Halloween films just felt so disconnected from the original film. And I like that this is. I like that this is. I like that this is pretty cool and stuff. So I like that there's a lot of continuity. Like they really did their homework with this. So, um, but yeah, this was freaking crazy seeing this. So, but yeah, Infected Goat 777. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. I mean, this is not the only thing I talk about. I mean, I'm obviously I'm not big horror fan, but I do like the Halloween films. I do like the Friday 13th films. But yeah, big like I'm a big science fiction guy. I love video games. I mean, I'm doing Metroid Dread streams right now and stuff. So yeah, feel free to check out the rest of my channel and stuff. And I have a Discord if you're interested in participating, sharing stuff. And if you're a content creator yourself, you can share your videos and stuff. Um, but yeah, but I loved. But yeah, this movie was great. I thought this is up there. This is definitely probably my number two. Then probably Halloween 2 and 2018 are kind of tied for third. So this is pretty awesome. So, but yeah, that's how this movie ends. This is my initial reactions and stuff. I'm going to see if I can do another stream where I have Geek Blend come on. Geek Blend, hopefully I can get him to come on. He's really busy. He's busy with his channel. He's went through some major life changes himself recently, and a new job and everything. So I mean, if I'm lucky to get him, I'll. I mean, he wants to do it, so we just have to figure out a time. So, but yeah, that was the movie, and I thought it was great. John Carpenter's score. I was listening. I listened to it at work today. I was enjoying it during the movie, and I was listening to it again in the car. I think there's a track. I think it's track number 17 where I think it's Michael is Unkillable or something. That's a great track. And of course, there's a lot of drawbacks to the original. Some of the scores of the original. So that little theme, that little creepy theme when 6-year-old Michael Myers goes into the house. Dun, 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 that one, that creepy one. And then, of course, the famous Michael Myers is pursuing Laurie little theme, which is basically two notes. Da, 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 da. So they brought those back. And, of course, the Halloween theme, obviously. So, but yeah, that's to me, that's Halloween. That's Halloween Kills in a nutshell. So, happy you guys are on. I mean, carrying these streams by myself is kind of tough, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun to talk about. Hopefully, I was pretty clear on stuff. Gift of Gab is just something as currently as an in process developing. It's a developing skill for me. So, but yeah, this was a great film. I mean, look at that charred mask right there, creepy as heck. The jack-o'-lanterns that you see, creepy as hell. And that's Allison as she's basically trying to fight off Myers right after he kills Cameron. So of course that's David Gordon Green, the director, and there's crazy Jamie Lee Curtis, or Jamie Lee Curtis, the activist and stuff. But I still liked her character in the movie. But yeah, this movie, Michael Myers was a villain, and he maintained his villain status. He was someone you see him in the scene, you get scared, and that's what I want to see in more properties. And it just seems like everything is a freaking joke now to most of the franchises now. Star Wars, there's no stakes. Marvel, I think Marvel's losing its way in my opinion, but I'm a bit of a normie when it comes to Marvel, so I'm not going to go further into that. But here's James Jude Courtney. He plays Michael. He plays older Michael Myers. You see he's bald and stuff, but he's a hell of a stuntsman. He captures Nick the way Nick Castle used to move. He captures Michael Myers like to the T and stuff. And of course, this is he's one of the designers, one of the artists and stuff. He designed the mask. He was the guy. He plays the policeman in the 2018 film. He's the guy that is offered the banh mi sandwich, that Vietnamese sandwich, the banh mi peanut butter and jelly. And he's like, that sounds disgusting. This is what I eat for lunch. He takes out a Tupperware, and he's like, these are two homemade brownies and pudding that I made all by myself. And his partner's like, that's what a 5-year-old would make for themselves if they could make a lunch. So people hated that part of the movie. I liked it because it was actually pretty funny. And I like food. I'm a bit of a foodie. I mean, I need to lose some weight, but I'm a bit of I like it. I like, conversations about food. If there's anything that'll bring people together, it's food. So, but yeah, this was a great movie. Yeah, rest in peace, Marion. She died for the second time, like I said earlier. There's Lori in bed talking to Hawkins. Hawkins is in the bed next to her. And yeah, so this movie kind of ends like, I mean, do I think there could have been a better way to end the movie? Sure, but it's like Last Jedi in terms of where do they go from there? Because I have no idea where they're going to go. So, I mean, is Myers going to be? So is there going to be like a year passes and Myers has been unaccounted for all that time, or did they simply take him into custody again? He escapes again, and then Laurie kills him once and for all, and that's how Halloween turns out. I hope it doesn't turn out that way, but I have no idea what they're going to do with this. So, but but for all that's all that said, rest in peace, Karen. We lost her husband, the Wiz, in the last movie, and then we lost her in this one. So, rest in peace, Karen Strode. So, yep. So that's where I'm going to leave it for. This is where I'm going to leave it for now. So, if I do another stream, I will. If I do another stream, it'll probably be this weekend. I am still working on my second episode of Serial Horror Sessions. I am working on the movie I'm doing for episode 2 is 1978's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So be ready for that. I'm still trying to figure out what I should do for episode 3. I'm thinking either The Exorcist 3 or perhaps Carrie. I haven't made up my mind yet. And I think for a season finale, I want to do 1982, The Thing. And I only have a couple of weeks till Halloween, so Serial Horror Sessions is probably going to probably end beyond Halloween. So we have another person in the chat. Person says, "Do you feel bad for the firefighters?" I do. I mean, they're just a friend of mine, a buddy of mine is a first responder. He's a paramedic, and I do not want to see people in that type of. I don't want to see people in that type of situation killed. Did I feel bad for the firefighters? I was pissed that they showed that in the trailer. They should not have showed that in the trailer. I think it would have been way more impactful. Like the same with the scene in the closet from 2018, the 2018 closet scene. I would have pissed my pants. Okay, maybe I wouldn't have. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up, but I would have if I didn't know about that. See, I saw the trailer. I know all about that little closet segment, where she tries to close the door 3 times. Then she looks in and Myers just stabs her and stuff. I knew that was coming, so I wasn't scared. If I didn't know that was coming, I probably would have pissed my pants. Seriously. And then just so when I saw the Halloween Kills and I saw this in the trailer, I was just like, why are they doing this? Why are they spoiling their own movie? If you're going to do something, do it like the original Alien, where you didn't know what was going on at all. So, like Alien, you just see clip after clip after clip after clip after clip. By the way, if you want to see, I did an Alien review a few months ago, and I made my own version of the classic Alien trailer. So I honored the original intent. But it's just clips that I chose and went with instead of what the original did. But is the original the better trailer? Yeah. I'm not a professional trailer artist, but yeah, I did make my own version of the trailer, and that's how I opened my Alien review. So check that out if you haven't. So so Infected Go 777 in person. Thanks for coming by. This was a pretty cool stream. I'm not necessarily a horror channel, but I do like to talk about. I mean, horror is part of my Halloween. Is Halloween 1978 is one of my personal favorite movies of all time. It's up there. It's in my definitely in my top. I think it's definitely in my top 25 for sure. So, and of course, I already did a video on Halloween 1 and 2. So check that out. And yeah, so it's just yeah, this movie was freaking great. I had a smile. This was better than Bond. And I have one more movie to see next week, and that's Dune. And Dune, I definitely plan on seeing in theaters, so I'm going to be doing a similar initial reaction. I go see the movie after work, and then do an initial reaction stream just like that. So, well, I have a good day and a good life, and I wish good luck, my man, and God bless you. Bye. Oh, thank you. So yeah, so I'm gonna go see Dune next week. So plans are I'm gonna go see Dune next week and do an initial reaction next Thursday, same time probably, depending on when I get my ticket. If you haven't seen it, I heard people have already seen it. You gotta go see it in IMAX if you do plan to see Dune by Denis Villeneuve. I'm gonna do that. Saturday, I'm gonna resume my playthrough of Metroid Dread. So come on by and watch me do some classic 2D Metroid goodness, because Metroid is this game that I've done parts 1, and I've already done it twice, and it's a fun game. So come by and check that out. I'm probably gonna do it Saturday night. So all right. So other than that, so person Infected Goat 777 LDGs says, good show, boss. Sack time for me though. Catch you around. Well, thank you for coming by. So yeah, so Affected Goat, thank you for coming by. Person also here with the Bob Ross avatar. Same thing. Take care. God bless. Whoopa Troopa, man says, man, that's a heck of a body count. So there's Whoopa Troopa, Star Wars guys. I'm on their channel quite a bit doing Tuesday Night Trek. Great YouTubers. Check them out. Godzillionaire lurking in the background like usual. Speed King and Punk Waddle. So yeah, all you guys here, Pacific usuals. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. So. But yeah, if you want to join Discord and stay updated on stuff I have, Whoopa left a link right here. So, but that's cool. Everybody, once again, stay nerdporial. May the wings of nerdporials carry all to happiness. And take care, everybody. Remember, stay safe, because maybe there'll be another night he came home. So take care.